Hey, yo.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Oh, it's just fucking technical difficulties all over this bitch right now. It's fucking awesome.
We did it though. We're only 4 minutes late.
We're only 4 minutes, and for singers, that's
I was gonna
fucking
say
fashionably late, I'd say.
Yeah, for two gentlemen who are afflicted with the condition Eddie Van Halen named LSD.
Well, yeah,
4 minutes late.
for that shit with pride, dude. You know.
Indeed. What's going on, man? How are both of you guys doing? I'll throw it to you, Corey, first. How are you doing? What's going on?
I'm beat up, dude. Like, we're fucking almost done with this thing, but the shows have been rad. So it's you know how it is. It's fucking Slipknot. So it's like football in metal form, basically.
Yeah. Mr. Sykes, long time no see, no talk, man. How you been?
I've been good. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm well. I mean, it's, to try to put into a nutshell the last few years of Bring Me, you guys are just crushing it on a level that has just broadened so far beyond kind of where we all started and the scene that, you and I came from. And it fills me with pride every time I see what you guys are doing and the level that you're doing it on. It's just like outstanding, man. It's really impressive.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So obviously we're here to talk about Knotfest LA, which is coming up a week from tomorrow. I'm here at the Knotfest office. You can see the backwards Knotfest.
Couldn't notice from all the fucking
in case you wondered where I might
Hall of Fame.
It's just my bedroom. I like to.
It's like Clown's bathroom, basically. Yeah.
I like to invite a romantic partner over and go gaze upon my Knotfest.
Yes.
I'm at the Knotfest office, and we're going to talk about Knotfest LA. But the first thing that I wanted to talk about, because this was the first thing that crossed my mind when the idea of moderating a conversation with you two gentlemen came up, is I was thinking about, way back in 2004, Bring Me covering Eyeless.
Yeah.
Very badly.
Slipknot. And I wanted to, Ollie, if you could tell us a little bit of your memories of doing that. I believe it came out on the deluxe edition of Count Your Blessings, maybe, was when I first heard it. But if you could tell me your memories of that happening, and then I'll throw it to you, Corey, for your reaction to it, or when you first became aware. But Ollie, what was the story behind the Bring Me Eyeless cover back in the day?
I think it was for like a Kerrang CD, like Kerrang cover CD or something like that. Man, it's so long ago now, but obviously we all love Slipknot. We all Bring the Horizon wouldn't be here if Slipknot didn't exist. So, and I remember the first drum kit we ever got was the Corey Taylor kit. Matt got it from like Rotherham, where he lives. They accidentally charged him. I think it was on sale for like £999, and they accidentally sold it him for £9.99, without realizing, which was great because we didn't have much money back then. And we recorded it in like someone's shed or something. I remember like very faintly. I remember Matt was very upset about trying to recreate the drum beats, and it was just a shit show, the whole song. But it was like in the process of us like kind of evolving our style from, I guess, what kids call deathcore and stuff, which were our first record, and then moving into this more like, I don't know, like new metal and drop tune, like riffs and stuff like that. And obviously we went on tour with a band called Bury Your Dead, and a lot of bands that were also like, we were influenced by, but really we knew like a lot of it had come from bands like Slipknot and that whole scene. So we just wanted to like pay homage to like, and give a little nod to like a direction that we were going to like try and take our music in ourselves, in terms of like what Slipknot had done for like heavy music at the time. Like, I never realized at the time like how heavy it was, just because I loved it so much. But like, but at the same time, it was like, on some level, it was quite commercial. You know what I mean? Like Iowa was like #1 in England, and It was just so massive. Like look, even listening back now to those old records, I'm like, man, this was insane. Like this used to be on Radio 1 in England.
Right.
And that was just, it was just unheard of at the time. Like a band that extreme managing to break and be like that kind of that band that gets kids into metal and rock, and that's really what I want. You know, bring the horizon. That was my goal at that point. I was like, that's what I want to be. I want to be that band that gets me in, that gets kids into heavy music. You know what I mean? Because Slipknot and other bands like that were the reason I got into metal. And before that, I didn't have any, you know, direction or passion or anything until bands like that. So like, yeah, it was definitely like, I guess just paying our respects.
Yeah, and it's insane. I mean, actually, the last time Corey and I spoke, I mentioned this. The idea that something that extreme, was telling you about, I remember getting a promo copy of the self-titled Slipknot record and getting the 8x10 band photo and putting it in and just being like, this is cool, this is insane, this could never go anywhere. You know, like they're going to like maybe headline an extreme metal fest somewhere, you know, someday if they're lucky. And the idea that it's a band that got on the radio anywhere, you know, it's just insane, let alone how massive a cultural institution that it's become. Corey, do you remember what your first introduction to Bring Me was? And also at what point you heard that they had covered Slipknot?
Well, I mean, first of all, I mean, thank you guys for saying all that. Like, I wasn't expecting to blush this early. Fucking rad. I remember the first time I even heard about Bring Me was, honestly, I was reading about them in Kerrang, actually. And they were, I mean, right when they were starting to break. And, I mean, everybody was talking about it. And I was like, who the fuck is this? And then I heard that they had done a cover of Eyeless, which I immediately, like, searched it out and found it. And I remember telling the guys in Slipknot, I was like, you got to fucking hear this cover of Eyeless. It is so sick. And it's probably my favorite cover that anybody's ever done of one of our songs. Like, there's a couple of people who've really, because you can play a song, but it's hard to capture the spirit of it. And to me, you guys captured the frenetic energy of what we were trying to capture, just that fucking unhinged, just go for it. And you guys, you got the hooks of it. You got to me, I mean, the execution was fucking rad. And I loved just how thick it felt as well, man. So it's like, so that to me was my first real taste of you guys. And then obviously I went and the rest of your stuff. And I mean, I was just a fan ever since. So I love the fact that we kind of have that in common. I remember the first time I remember meeting you guys was at the Kerrang Awards. And I think it was right after you had met the guys in Def Leppard, because you guys are all from like Sheffield, right? Like, yeah. I just remember watching you guys enjoy that moment together. And I was like, this is fucking cool, dude. You know, like it was just one of those weird moments of just kind of realizing how big our history is, man. Like, just not just us, but like, you know, just how far back heavy metal goes and where we're going to the future and shit. And it was just that. So I've always associated that with you guys, is like having this excited feeling for where the future of the music was going, because you guys really have a fearless vibe and you embrace the music the way you do.
Sick. Thank you.
Well said. Yeah, I love watching Oli's face as Corey Taylor is saying this stuff. It's pretty amazing. I love it. Yeah, and I pulled up a quote actually somewhere. Let me see. This is going back 10, 11 years. Oli talking to Rock Sound about the first Slipknot record. You said, when I first got into rock music, that was one of the first records I bought, and I couldn't believe how heavy it all was. It's got to be one of the best heavy albums of all time, surely. And it's got all of our favorites on there. You know, not to make you blush anymore,
right,
Mr. Taylor, but yeah, I mean, when you hear stuff like that from someone who is proven himself to be an innovator and a creative maverick on his own, like how does that hit you?
I mean, it's rad, man. You know, I mean, when we first started, we didn't think anybody was going to get it. We didn't think we hoped we would have a fan base. I mean, you guys have to understand, and I've said this a million times, nobody is more surprised by our success than we are. Like, we still, to this day, get up and go, the fuck is going on? Like it's just crazy to us, you know? It wasn't supposed to work on paper, on fucking just, I mean, it wasn't supposed to work. That we captured something and to kind of can capture something, you know, it's you know, so I've, you know, when I feel that camaraderie from people, you know, obviously like Oli and like all of our other peers that we have, man, it makes us feel like maybe we weren't fucking crazy, you know, like maybe we weren't so out there. Like there was something that we had that could really be embraced and really enjoyed and celebrated, like, you know, as much as we do, you know?
Oh, totally, man. I mean, if you look back on it now, it's just like, I know, like you say, like, because we have that same thing, but like,
right.
But it's genius. Like everything you did, like the masks and the suits and the mysterious, like just how mysterious it all was, and like, you know, there was we at school we'd all just talk about all the rumors that used to sniff dead crows before shows, and like you were doing all this shit. It's like, and it's like even now, like I'm like, right, I want to do this, and I look back at it, oh, Slipknot has already done it. Like if you do, like it's like I know it won't even come from any. It will just come from like the subconscious, and you just did it, and you're on automatic. But like looking back, it's like so many bands and so many artists have tried to do it since, but you guys were like, you know, it were like, I don't know. It reminds me of like, you know, how deep and the dark energy of like black metal, and you know the corpse paint and the way, you know, everything this, you know, had. It's like then you guys came along in the, you know, the late 90s and early 2000s. It was like this new form of that. Do you know what I mean? It's just like there's just something about it that is just so like. Yeah, you guys could have absolutely sucked, and you'd still have been massive because just because this whole idea, this whole enigma.
People might say we actually do suck, and we're still.
No, but you don't. That's the thing. The thing is like, but at the same time, you take all that away. If anyone wants to try and call that a gimmick or whatever, which I don't think it is, I think it's so, like, I don't know. It's just the synergy of it all is incredible. But if you take it away, it's like your songs are like. I don't know, it's just all incredible. So like, yeah, I know, I'm sure I completely 100% believe you when you say you look back and like, how the fuck did this all work? But at the same time, it's just like, it's just like genius, and bands will forever trying to be like replicate that. Yeah, man, like yeah, I remember like, because when I discovered you, it was also like the internet had just become a thing, and like. I remember trying to like download. I was like getting raw files of every record, like Mate Feed Peter, and stuff like that. Like having to stitch each raw file together, and like literally every single record. It took me like days to get your whole discography. But yeah, I was obsessed, man.
Well, I mean, you'll understand this because what you guys have done has been really great because you've expanded the sound, you've expanded what you guys do, you've pushed the boundaries. And you've experimented, but you've also kept your core sound where it is. And that's obviously, I mean, that's all we've really tried to do. You know, we've tried to take that core sound that we have and blend it with different influences, different things that we've tried to do in experimentation, whether it's, you know, electronic or, you know, dark synth, or even, you know, going into stuff that, dare I say, sounds more like hard rock. You know, I mean, you take Before I Forget, which really kind of has like an active rock vibe, but because it's our approach to it, it just smacks and really just, you know, kind of punches you, which is all we really want to do, you know? And so, you know, what inspired you guys to kind of try to play around with the genre the way you have? Because obviously it's the way you've done it has been a little more modern, and yet it fits so well with what you guys do.
Yeah, honestly, we made like up to when we like after our first record, like around that point, we had not even like, maybe in a similar way of you guys, we'd not took anything we'd done seriously. Like we just wanted to make music for people to mosh to. We didn't think about like song structure. We didn't think about, we just weren't taking it seriously at all. And after like our first record came out, like we'd won like some Kerrang awards, which at the time was the hugest thing to us. We'd gone on tour in America. We'd done all like we'd gone and played these massive festivals and all that, and we were like, oh my god, like what happens if we actually like really actually try and make some legitimately good music? You know what I mean? Because that first record was just us like pissing about, really, like. And so we were like, well, let's push ourselves, let's experiment, let's see what we can do. Like if we actually like knuckle down and do, put some effort in. And so we released Suicide Season, which just, and it worked. And from that moment, we were like, right, that's what we do. Every record, we push ourselves further, we experiment, we never do the same thing twice, like, because it worked for us, you know what I mean? And it was just, and that was being like our thing each time. It's like, never make the same record twice. And just try and evolve and listen, like we used to get a lot of shit back in the day for like who we were, and a lot of stuff were like things that we would never change about as well.
Right.
But at the same time, if someone would say like, oh, they're playing out of time or this and that, like if I felt it and I'm like, they're right, I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna work on that. Like we'll get better. And that's just been the mentality for the band. Just like we've never felt safe, and we've always felt like we have to fight for what we've got, and so it's just like, and I guess that's always how it will feel to us. Like we've just got to keep pushing ourselves. And when I got out of rehab the first time, and that's when I decided I wanted to sing, because all I'd done is scream up to that night. I really like, and again it was just like, I don't know how to sing. I'm just gonna learn. I'm gonna push myself, and I'm gonna, because it just felt like it was time for a new layer and a new level to the band and stuff. So it's just kind of been like, that's always been our mentality, is just like, just evolve, just whatever you do, don't do the same thing twice, Well,
it's rad, dude. And kudos to you guys, because you guys are fucking.
Cheers, man.
I love something you said earlier, Corey, about not realizing, but then being made evident that you had tapped into something, right? It's like you'd harnessed or channeled this energy that must have been crackling around in it. And Bring Me has been the same way, that those of us who connect with what you're doing, it's like it sort of magnetically, pulled us toward it, and I think that's so important. Every generation.
Well, I think a lot of it coming from Iowa, I mean, anybody who comes from a small place understands the incredible frustration that comes with being bigger than the town you live in, whether it's what you do or your personality or whatever, just having, wants and needs that expand past the city limits, and living with that limitation, and, trying to turn people on to something that we thought, was kind of a turning point and had never really been done before, especially in that place. And having them really just kind of go, really not fucking getting it. It just made us go harder and harder and harder, So maybe that's one of the things that appealed to people, is because, to me, more people come from small places than they come from bigger places. And when you can absolutely identify with that, it appeals to you, and you can really, you can recognize that rage, that fire that a lot of people have to just get the fuck out and do something and let people know that you're alive,
Yeah, and to your point, as I'm watching the comments and everything just scroll by, it's people in Russia, Indonesia, it's like all of these places, where we all feel the way that you did, I'm going to try to make Oli blush now. Back in 2016, I think it was, 4 or 5 years ago, there was an interview with you, Corey, in Forbes, where you were talking about doing your radio thing. And Forbes asked Corey, Oli, who his dream interviews were. And he said Pharrell, Trent Reznor, and Oli Sykes.
Really?
How does that hit you? How do you
That's
feel?
crazy. I'm surprised no one told me that.
That's what I'm here for.
Well, that's why I was so stoked for this, because I just, I've always wanted to just sit down and and just rap about shit, you know, because I mean, I love talking to people who still have that passion, man, you know, like whether it's with what we do or, you know, just trying to be creative and expand past the limitations of what the outside world try to put on our genre, you know, and that's, I mean, it's one of the reasons why I respect you guys so much, is that you refuse to let people put a fucking ceiling on it like we do. And it's just, yeah, I mean, so that's one of the reasons why I've always just wanted to, you know, yeah, that's it.
That's wild. That's sick.
I love it.
Well, I'd never give up the opportunity to talk to Corey Taylor, so whenever you need me.
Fucking happened like soon, so.
Yeah, well, and you guys are going to be in the same space, which is mind-blowing on a lot of levels, not the least of which is the situation the world has been in the last year plus. Right. Week from tomorrow, I'm super psyched about it. It's going to be the first big show I've been to since the pandemic began. Right. Looking forward to seeing both of your bands, seeing both of you guys. I'll throw it to you first, Corey, and then I'll jump over to Oli. Corey, what can we expect from Slipknot at Knotfest LA?
I mean, the cool thing is that we really worked on a pretty fucking killer set to put together, and which we kind of pieced together over some rehearsals, and then, you know, just kind of trial and error, putting the show together, and really got it locked tight. But having said that, we got some cool surprises ready for Knotfest LA. Just for the fact that, you know, our career's kind of been leading towards this now, man, you know, and the fact that we have such a stacked lineup, not just Bring Me, but, you know, obviously Kill Switch, Fever 333, Code Orange, my son's band Vendetta is going to be playing, my wife's dance corps is going to be doing an incredible show like right before Bring Me plays. And we're all really, really stoked that we're going to be able to do something really special for LA, and honestly our first real stadium show, man. Like, I mean, it's and this is that, so that's what I'm most stoked about, not just our show, but just the fact that we are putting something on as a testimony to the music we love, the fans that we love to play for, and just hopefully the start of something massive in the future, man.
Amazing. Yeah. And shout out, as you said, to the rest of that lineup, Kill Switch, you know, amazing dudes, amazing band.
Right.
And man, Jason Butler, you know, Let Live, Fever 323,
yeah,
everything. Does just one of the most exciting frontmen in this genre that you can see. I mean, the dude goes nuts. It's awesome. So Oli, what does Bring Me have planned for Knotfest LA that you can share?
I mean, we're just there to get everyone warmed up for the main event.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna
come on,
do our best to put on a bloody good show.
That,
I don't actually know, but we're trying to bring as much as we can from the show we've just done it over here in England to America. So it's going to be something, a scaled down version of that, but it should still be sick.
Yeah.
And yeah,
when you have a gig like this coming up, how soon do you show up here? You know, being that you're across the pond.
We're coming to LA we're flying on Saturday. So we got a little show at the Whiskey a couple of days before to warm up.
Right. Yeah, I'm so stoked for you.
That's insane. Yeah.
It's going to be like night and day, like Whiskey then a stadium. So
right.
But best of both worlds, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I can imagine that whole street is going to be crazy with Bring Me playing in that little venue. I picture like, you know, like U2's like playing on the roof somewhere, and it's like cops and people everywhere in the street. Like it's got to be nuts. So that vibe, that's gonna be.
I'm just so happy. You know, I'm a bit of a not pessimist, but like I was like, really, are we gonna like really get to come over and play these shows? Like I just didn't know if any of these shows were gonna happen this year. So I'm just like I just can't believe it. And obviously, like, just doing those shows over here in England, it was just like, man, the most insane, just amazing feeling. Like, not that I've ever took it for granted, but you know, when you do it for so long, you can easily just go into like autopilot and not realize how crazy it is what you do for a living. Yeah. And then coming back and doing those shows, I'm like, man, this is just the best thing ever. So
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I think that speaks for all the artists, all the audience.
I couldn't.
It's the same thing. I mean, for me, doing what I do for a living, you know, going like, a festival and blah blah blah, and now I'm like, yes, please,
festival, like even like flying,
I'll go anywhere.
I'm even excited just to get on a plane, man, and just like sit back and like, just all the mundane shit. I'm just like feel like a kid again. It's
right.
awesome.
Yeah, sitting in traffic to come to the Knotfest office. I'm like, oh, this is cool. I've done this in a long time. Awesome. Well, gentlemen, thanks so much to both of you. I know we don't have all the time in the world. I have been passed the note that I should remind everyone limited tickets are still available, including that new VIP package, which, if I'm not mistaken, includes the Slipknot Museum, which I know I'm excited to check out the Slipknot Museum. That's such a cool thing for you to curate and have be part of this. Knotfest.com/Los Angeles is the place for the info on the show. Knotfest.com is a destination, if you don't know now, for all sorts of news and opinion pieces and interviews with, you know, just heavy culture, music, movies, all the stuff that all of us love. Corey and Ollie being in the UK, I wore my Vivian Young One shirt for you guys
Fuck
today.
yeah, you did.
Very metal.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, looking very forward to seeing both of you, and I know that the show is just going to be insane. Just so much pent up, like, people ready to lose their minds.
Yeah. We're so fucking stoked. I mean, I feel, this is sad. I feel 39 again. How's that fucking feel for you, right?
Well, you know what? It's my birthday 2 days after Knotfest LA, so I'm going to be raging as though I'm much younger than I will be turning.
I don't want to, blow the surprise, but I got you the same thing I got you last year for your birthday, which is absolutely fuck all, and I hope you enjoy it.
Yes. So excited for it, man. I was hoping. That's like an answered prayer.
Well, you guys take care, man. Oli, safe travels, brother. I'll see you when you get there. And kick ass at the whiskey show, man. I'll talk to you guys soon, all right?
Thanks, dude.
No worries, man.
Guys in a bit.
Get my best for the boys. Absolutely. Thanks, brother.
Yeah.
See you guys.
Later, man.